Hey everybody, this is Sam and Raphael, and today we sat down with our friends James and Daniel Shireman of Shireman Construction to break down one of their newest multifamily development projects over in Corydon, Indiana. Shireman Construction has become a commercial construction institution around the Louisville and Southern Indiana area over the last 70 years, constructing everything from jails, schools, warehouse space to hospitals. So naturally we got curious when they broke ground on their 68-unit apartment development.
The Shiremans bought the raw land, mapped out the design plans, and constructed it all themselves, and we got the inside scoop of what the process looked like from start to finish, straight from the horse's mouth. This is your monthly neighborhood update with Sam Heine and Raphael Collazo.
Hey everyone, welcome to Street Talk. Today we're tuning in live from Corydon, Indiana. We're actually here with our good friends James and Daniel Shireman with Shireman Construction. We're really excited to talk a little bit about not only their background and the history of their company, but also talk about a really cool project that they're working on that I know both Sam and I are really excited to kind of learn about. So first off, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us on.
Appreciate it very much.
Oh, absolutely. So to start off, obviously we've gotten to know you guys over the last several years, and you guys have become good friends of ours, and we obviously know what you guys do on a day-to-day. But for the audience, if you guys could kind of tell us a little bit about, Shireman Construction, how you guys got started. I know it's been in the family business for many, many years, and kind of some of the projects that you guys typically work on. That'd be great.
Brief history on James L. Shireman Incorporated. We do business at Shireman Construction now. It was started by our grandfather back in 1957 as a bricklayer. And as things progressed, our uncle Mark and our dad Joe Shireman joined on a second generation, and we moved into the commercial and industrial side of things. Daniel and I are third generation contractors here now.
I would say it's pretty rare to be in a family business that's been around for 67 years. 67 years.
Mm-hmm.
And to have the teammates, a lot of teammates around here that's been with us for over 20-some years. I started here full-time in 2013 and was very fortunate to be out there with some of the guys out in the field for a lot of years before they retired. And I've learned a lot from them. My dad and Mark, they gave us opportunities to get out there and learn and be more hands-on with it, because you got to have some of that hands-on experience to know what you're talking about to a customer. And
The only way to get it is to get your hands dirty.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Your boots on the ground.
And we've been very fortunate, not only to, like I said, to have those teammates and soak up all that knowledge that they have and brought to the table, but we have a dad and an uncle who spent a lot of time with us. They could easily be like their dad, and say, well, I'm 60-some years old, I've done it, I've had enough, and see you later at lunchtime. But they've stuck around and
mentored us
and spent they care about this place just as much as we do, and they want to, we all want to carry on the tradition and doing good quality work for people, and we got a lot of repeated customers because of that. So that's something to be very proud of, and we're looking forward to keep that moving.
Again, our overall goal here is quality.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Daniel graduated from Vincennes University, cum laude, in construction science. And like he said, he's been back since 2013. I came back in 2017.
Yeah.
I run more of the business development and marketing side, and Daniel's head of our operations here.
That's amazing, yeah. And if you guys can see, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you'll see a lot of these portraits along the walls, and it's all the different projects that they've worked on. So it's kind of cool. Every time I come down to your guys' office, I'm always kind of impressed to see all the different projects you all have worked on, and not only just here in Corydon, but in kind of regionally in different places. So it's really cool to see.
One project in particular we're halfway through is a apartment development here in Corydon, Indiana. It's kind of been a dream of mine 5 years ago, and we brought it to life last December. Corydon hasn't had new apartment development in 20-30 years, give or take, and we thought with the demand of housing right now, and people can afford new houses because of the rates and stuff. So we wanted to bring something a little bit more advanced, new to the community, and something to be proud of. Currently 2 buildings right now, 44 units, all 2 bed, 2 bath. We've actually went to the extent of bricking the whole thing, and spray foam inside. Really worried about the noise from your neighbors and stuff like that. And it would also help with your utility bills and stuff on their end, the tenant. And it's came a long way, and it's something new that we're not used to doing. We're used to, negotiating work with clients or hard bid projects that's come out for bid. And this is just something totally new and fresh. This is just, like I said, a dream of mine, or ours. And seeing something come to life is it's pretty cool. And you get a lot of compliments of how it looks and what we're doing, and the involvement we've had with the teammates involved, the subcontractors. A big majority of them live here in Corydon, and the supply, the lumber, the shingles, and all that stuff has came through our local Lineberry Lumber Company here in Corydon. And I think it's just been a great project, and to try to keep it local the best you can. We also have another local company, a moving company. It's called Conrad Brothers, and they've also reached out to me about, hey, can we put a sign out and offer future tenants to get moved in? We'll be glad to help. And I said, absolutely. And we got some other involvement. A family member of ours, Brad Sprigler, is my mom's first cousin. I spent a lot of time with him over the winter time here, picking out colors and what it should look like.
Interior decorating.
Yeah, we were very worried about how it looked. We won't be very proud of it when we're done. It's just we're not very good with colors. And so Brad Sprigler did an amazing job on that, and we've got a lot of compliments on this, and hoping to be done with it maybe here in the end of June, 1st of July. And so hoping to open the door here for folks here in August. I believe we got several people committed here, and I think we got like 35 on a waiting list right now at 44 units. So it's very exciting, and we have the opportunity to grow it into a lot more if the demand is still there. And it's just been a very dream come true for us.
As third generation contractors here, we have established reputation here, and we want to build upon that. And we're doing this with these apartments, offering the local community a nice place to live.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the ins and outs, because we're curious. I got a chance to tour the property with you about a month ago.
Yes.
Really quality stuff. Daniel, you mentioned that this has been something that you all have been simmering on and looking to map out for some time, a dream of yours. Talk to us a little bit about perspective from both of you, just from both of your sides, how that process came to be in terms of scouting out a specific location or layouts of the units. Like, how did it all kind of come together? Was it a gradual process?
I'd say it's nothing happens overnight. It took a lot of time, a lot of hours to come up with this plan, where to be at, and what's the good spot here in Corydon that hasn't already been developed and taken place here. And so this piece of ground that we're currently working on came up for sale one day, and it's on my way to work and home, that route I take every day, and I just thought that was very important for me personally, because I don't want to drive uptown every day to check on apartment project. Or
I think the idea behind this, in construction, it's never a steady flow of work. It's a constant roller coaster of up and down. So we thought this might be a good way to offset the bad years as a cash flow system.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned on the site selection side, a big piece of it is like you said, there's various factors in selecting a site for a project. Obviously, apartment demand is high. We all know that the affordability of housing is very low. So you guys identified in the marketplace that there needed to be more apartments, and especially high quality apartments, because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of developers out there, not everyone does this per se, but there's a lot of developers out there that just throw stuff up. They don't really take pride in delivering a product that is really of high quality. They just want to get it up as fast as possible, get it rented out, and try to maximize as much profit as they can, which, as a model, that's fine, but obviously you guys take pride in the stuff that you do, and you've delivered a project that, is going to be probably the best product, the new product in Corydon, you know.
Well, as we tell our customers and our teammates here, you know, we live here, and so we like to go to the same restaurants as they do, and you know, it's not like we can run and hide. You know, if there is an issue, we wouldn't do that anyway. You know, we want to take pride in what we do, and this location that we're at, you know, it's a very good spot. You know, it's just right outside, you know, the main drag here in Corydon. 2090 Corydon Ramsey Road's the address, and it's just a hop and a skip to your JC, your Walmart. You know, you can take the back roads to get to those areas. You don't have to fight the lovely Walmart light that we have here in Corydon. Everybody knows about it. It's kind of a pain, and it's very close to the hospital too, and it's pretty quiet. And I was, you know, when I first saw that for sale sign, I was like, what can go here? You know, what can we put on this raw piece of ground? And I just dreamed up apartments. And then I got together with Paul Primavera Associates here in Corydon, Dave Sanders, and he helped me and him kind of developed this model here, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, you know, kind of concept here, and start with those 2 buildings and see if, you know, if the demand is more 1-bed, 3-bed. You know, I just wanted to start with a 2-bed, 2-bath, because if you get 1 bath in there and the toilet don't flush at midnight on Christmas night, you know, they're going to be calling you, you know. And so I wanted to make sure you had the available 2 bathrooms. And so we're kind of going a next step up on building this thing. You know, and try to do it the right way at first and not have many callbacks. You know, bricking the whole thing, like I mentioned, spray foaming it, you know, 12 mil LVP all the way through. Just try to take a step back and, you know, bring something to life and have a good product to show the community to.
Mm-hmm.
And if we do a good job on these apartments, it should raise the value of all the surrounding houses.
Oh,
and
sure.
In turn, generating more income for the county, for our schools and roads.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and like kind of like Raphael touched on, there's plenty of demand, unsatisfied demand on the rental side, on the buy side, and so you're serving a pretty big niche that's needed. So you know the demand's there. You mentioned another incentive, just for, you know, from a cash flow standpoint, just having another asset in the family. What were the other types of incentives for tackling a project like this? It obviously gives back to the community.
Well, the incentive here is not only as we're building this, we're creating jobs for the contractors, the architects, the engineers, and then in turn, you know, it's going to create a living space for future tenants that will generate taxes for the county. So it's a win-win the way we see it. Again, we just want to be known for our reputation and our quality. So when we started this project, Dad said it's going to have our name on it. We're going to do it the right way.
Yeah,
that's our goal.
Totally.
That's great. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more that's a good logic to have. And again, we kind of reinforce the idea of the demand for multifamily. I know not only in Corydon, but in other parts of the country, it's still there's still a huge demand for residences. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is something that I've noticed, and Raphael, you can attest to this too, I'm sure. But the multifamily market has taken sort of an interesting turn. It seems like in the last few years, just, you know, outside of the state, competition, you know, dipping their hands in, grabbing these assets, you know, hedge funds, just investors, private investors from all over the country, all over the world, grabbing up the existing inventory. And so you all created your own. And I think that probably makes a lot of sense. Were you looking at existing multifamily projects, or was it you wanted to build something and like provide an asset?
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot to do, I think, with rates these days, where people can't afford a new home and stuff like that. And you know, we got a couple of other family members, uncles and cousins or whatever, that also do apartment development, and one of them has sold to a big time investor, I believe, out of state here, and so it kind of caught our eye whenever we're around the Christmas dinner table and stuff. You know, what's really going on out there with these investors? Like, what do they know? You know, why is some guy from California, for an example, buying an apartment complex in Indiana? And so maybe the new world is where, a guy gets out of high school and they just can't afford a new home anymore, and they got to live somewhere. They can't live out on the street. And maybe these investors are saying, well, they're going to live in an apartment, and maybe America here in the future is all going to be a rental atmosphere. I hope not, but it's surely maybe looking that way. This new American way. How we can make it easier for them. It's the route they want to take. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, you just see it in other states. Not only just obviously we're in a state where the affordability is still reasonable. Whereas if you look at New York and California and even Arizona, when I went to school in Arizona, and compared to where it is today versus before, it's night and day difference. So, to your point, I think you're by being able to provide a product like this. Obviously, it benefits the community because you have a lot of people that need space to be able to rent. It benefits the municipality because you're able to generate additional tax revenue. Mm-hmm. And then in the future, you have an asset that obviously long term you could have flexibility through cash flow, and ultimately down the line, if an opportunity presents itself for sale, then obviously that could be something as well. Now, kind of getting more into the not necessarily the economics of it, but understanding, what kind of figuring out rents. Like, I guess my main question is related to how did you guys make this make sense? Because right now interest rates are higher, construction costs are obviously higher. So were you guys able to kind of figure out what are the average rents, and how long do you think it's going to take you guys to get it leased up? I know you guys have hired a property management company to help out with that effort, but if you could provide some context, that'd be great.
So we don't have a crystal ball here, so a lot of this is a bit of a risk, but we've looked at historical data in the past, talked to our uncles and people with experience in this field of just doing apartments, and really pick their brains on where they think the market is. And then we just kind of went with our gut on what we decided on for rent and amenities and features and benefits here.
That's great. Yeah, no, and I know when we were talking at some point earlier in the process, not necessarily early in the process, but you guys were already underway on this. But I remember we talked about average rents for the area and what you guys were charging, and trying to get a feel for if that's kind of in line with what's going on.
Yeah, so. you gotta try to put a pencil to it. At least that's what I do. You gotta see what can you get the rents to be affordable for the folks in the community, and you kind of have to work backwards from that. What's from your bank loan and all the costs of construction and all that stuff. You got to work backwards instead of forwards on a typical project like this if you're going to be the developer and owner of it. And it took some time, and we're getting it come to life here, and it's a good feeling that you got a lot of momentum and a lot of people interested in them. So definitely going to help laying your head down at night when you're taking a big risk here, that you got some people that's going to make this thing come to life for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And one thing that's kind of like an ancillary, question that's kind of, stemmed off of this is related to the construction process, because I know obviously this is your guys' business, so better than anyone that you face obstacles when you start moving dirt around. You come across some stuff. So I just out of curiosity, what were some of the early challenges that you guys faced as you were starting to deliver this project at the finish line?
Well, in Harrison County, we're known for rock. Okay, sadly. So whenever we got started getting the pads ready, we ran into a lot of rock issues, and that kind of puts a damper, in your financial, pocket a little bit. But you can't just stop. You got to move forward a little bit, and so. We tackled that very well, and lumber prices actually went down quite a bit for us whenever it was time to purchase the lumber package. They actually got down to almost 2018 prices, which typically doesn't go our way. Typically it's the opposite way when we want to do something. So, every project has their challenges. It's never the same one. But this one in particular is kind of fun because you're not only the builder, but you're the customer. And when I say that, typically on a normal project, you meet with the customer once a week, couple times a month, and you talk about things, whether the wall needs to be pink or yellow, and you might have a customer come in there halfway into it and wants to say, well, I don't want the wall yellow anymore, I want it blue. And so there's a lot of downtime and regrouping with your teammates to get the project completed. And so on this particular thing, you just tell the guys, hey, this is this, and it moves a lot. Seems like a lot faster paced than what I'm used to being around, and it's just I wouldn't say it's kind of like a vacation or anything, but it's definitely a lot more relaxing because like I said, you're not only the builder, but you're the customer, and so you get to call the shots out there in the field, and like I said, every project has issues and stuff, and how to address them and stuff out in the field. That's what I enjoy doing, and.
No, I mean, I think that provides some good context, and obviously you'd mentioned the stone that you guys come across and the rock in the ground. It was interesting because we obviously went out to the site last month to see your guys' progress, and you guys have obviously made a significant amount of progress. But when we went around the back, you were showing us all the different boulders. Yeah, there was a bunch of boulders and stuff out there. We're like, man, you had your machines out there, kind of showing us, hey, this is what we had to do in order to get the site ready for phase 2. I know you guys are going to eventually take on a phase 2 to build that.
A lot of people would probably not have went to the extreme of the rock excavation like we did, but big picture things, we're trying to get the site pretty flat, for the older folks and stuff. These first floor apartments don't have any steps going into your units, and since we're so close to the hospital, we thought that was a big need and something that we can bring to the table that some other places around this area doesn't. And so 15, 20 years from now, we'll look back hopefully and laugh about all this. But right now, it's just kind of a project we're trying to get completed and get some folks moved in.
I guess real quick in closing, going back to interest rates being higher, construction rates, being higher right now. How much do you all feel like, or how much did you notice that being in the construction business helped you all out from a cost standpoint and mapping this thing out and building it out?
Well, so, one advantage that we have other than somebody out here on the street, the guy out there on the street is going to have to hire a contractor to build this for them. And so that contractor will have a markup on this price or project or whatever, and that's something we wouldn't have to do because we don't want to bill ourselves for it, So I would say that's probably one advantage that we have with someone else, I guess. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And you
guys
guys
cost down, and then Dad has preached to us that our grandfather preached to him was you need to go out and make your own mistakes here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great asset for us to go out and try something. If it doesn't work, we're gonna correct it. But going out and making the initiative ourselves is a big benefit.
Absolutely. And the experience too, because a lot of people when they first take on their and I know this isn't your guys' first rodeo, but I'm just saying anyone who decides they want to take on a development project, you start from scratch oftentimes, but you guys have decades of experience that you guys can lean on. Mm-hmm. And granted, not all of it is a multifamily, but there's a lot of components that are very similar that you can apply to this particular project and hopefully avoid some of the common mistakes that people make that don't have that experience. So.
Exactly. Like we don't just do apartments. We do a wide variety of different projects, which we can take what we've learned from those projects and apply to the next.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, man, I really appreciate your guys' time today. It was a really insightful conversation, and I know there's a lot of people listening that obviously have interests in the real estate market and also the development side of things as well. So it's going to be beneficial for them as they listen to this particular podcast. So,
For more information on the 2-bed, 2-bath Harrison Apartments, please contact Aaron Day at 812-955-0928 or at www.btbpropertymtg.com. And if you have any commercial construction projects coming up, please contact James Shireman at 812-738-8291 or James at jlshireman.com.